Welcome back to today's yoga question. We have the privilege of being joined today by Rachel Yellen, who is a birth enthusiast, former doula, yogi, all of the things. You can find her website below and watch the past couple episodes. She's been on talking to us, sharing, dropping some knowledge. It's such a pleasure to have you today. In our last episode, Rachel, I want to ask you about postpartum because mostly, we focus on birth. I focus on birth or the fear of birth, fertility. Those are kind of front of mind. But, and we spend so much time actually like talking or thinking about that. But then what happens after the baby comes? And I read something that really stood out for me on your website. There's a great blog post, I'll link it as well below, that called 10 Ways to Restore Yourself After Giving Birth. And you say the number one thing to do is to take 2 weeks of committed bed rest after your baby is born. Your body just did something so major. Stay in bed. Week 3 is partial bed rest. So I found that's a pretty radical idea, sort of 2.5 weeks of real bed rest. Why is that important, and why do you recommend it, and what happens during that time?
Oh, I love it. So there's the first and foremost, let's just think logically for a second about how long it takes to make a baby, right? You have 38 weeks, 40 weeks, somewhere in there to make a baby. And so approximately 10 months. And then the baby goes from inside of the body to outside of the body in a matter, honestly, of seconds. So there's a labor process that could be many hours, or it could be a few hours to a few days. But then you have literally the baby goes from in the body to out the body in a matter of a couple of minutes.
Right.
So if you think about what is occurring internally in terms of the placement of the organs, and how your organs are getting shoved up, right? Up in your intestines are all up in your ribs, and there's the whole space that the baby inhabited that is no longer being inhabited. So we think about that. We also think about the way that the vagina has to accommodate the welcoming, right? The opening of the baby, and the pressure that goes into that. And whereas the body actually pushes on its own, and a mother who does instinctual pushing where her body is doing it, not a woman who's being forced and told you got to push, but a woman who's listening to her own instincts, there's still a massive change that's happening around the anus, around the perineum, all the vaginal muscles and tissues. There's a chance that a good percentage of people have some degree of tearing, whether it's just one note, a little skid mark to 1 or 2 stitches. So all of these things combined in terms of the changes in the body, and then of course all the hormones. If a mother gives birth and then she is upright and she's moving around, if she had stitches, the stitches could bust basically. The organs will sit too heavily down back into that sort of vacated space.
Right.
Which can be hard on the digestive system. The uterus, which started off prior to pregnancy the size of a pear, after birth it shrinks down to the size of approximately a grapefruit, and the uterus is still bleeding. So if she's upright and moving around a lot, she's going to bleed a lot more. She potentially disrupts the healing of the vagina. She potentially creates an impact on all the organs that ultimately you don't really want. We want the organs to settle back into the right places. And then, moreover, if the mother is up and about and she's busy, she's not going to be meeting this stranger, right? The baby's a stranger. And she's got a stranger for whom she all of a sudden is responsible for 24/7 plus.
Right.
Now she's up and about trying to make food, or she's got visitors coming and trying to entertain. She's going to miss learning what cues the baby is giving her for when the baby needs to eat before the baby gets hysterical. She's going to miss the cues of when does the baby's diaper need to be changed. She has to be 100% focused. She's either sleeping or she's focused on the baby, and learning how to feed this baby, 8 to 12 times a day. So you can imagine and each feeding takes between 20 and 45 minutes to an hour. And so you do the math calculation The mother cannot be responsible for doing anything else. In my programs, I tell the partners, I say, if you are somebody who you have a full-time, as the partner, you have a full-time job and you're the primary caretaker, you do all the laundry, you do all the cooking, you do all the shopping, the dog walking, the mail, everything. If you don't work, you might be okay. But if you're not that person,
Yeah.
do not expect for 1 second that you're going to be able to meet the needs of that postpartum woman. A postpartum woman is like a mama bear who's got cubs. She's like, honey, I'm hungry. Get me some cheese and an apple. And the partner is like, okay, I'll be right there. If you're not there in 2 minutes, she's like, where are you? You know, she's starving now because she's feeding all the time. So we need to make sure that the mom is super well supported. Physiologically, she's going through all these changes and healing. Emotionally, she's going through all these chemical changes in her brain that facilitate bonding and prioritizing every cell in her body is to protect this baby. And if that mom is up and about and trying to go get the mail or, make some food for herself or throw in a load of laundry, she is not going to adapt nearly as well. And I can tell you, in every culture that has a process where, many of these, indigenous cultures, or even like the Chinese, for example, they have a 30-day where they don't put the baby down. The mother is fed nourishing broths, soups, stews. Everything is warm, cooked, highly nutrient-dense foods. There's no pizza delivery. There's no Thai food delivery filled with sugars. There's no I had a client recently say that she had this refrigerator. People kept bringing her salad. She was like, I don't want to be eating salad. I'm starving. I need fat, high fat quality. I need, really nourishing meats and fish, right? All of that. So there's so many things that go into this. And so I tell women 2 weeks solid bed rest. And then on the 3rd week, you can sit on the couch. You can go sit on your deck, or in San Francisco, maybe it's your fire escape, in your little house. But you want to take it easy. The other thing that I want to say, Lizzie, that's really important that a lot of people don't realize is that if you think about how animals protect their young, a woman is a mammal. Mm. Her protective nature is so heightened when she is postpartum that many women start feeling paranoid over someone's going to breathe on my baby. Someone's going to take my baby. So you don't want to be out in the world walking around the busy streets, walking around and having people be like, hello, breathing on your baby. Women are don't breathe, don't germ on my baby, Right. And it's really important that women feel ready. And also the nursing takes time to get to feel comfortable with nursing. And if you're out in the world and you're at a restaurant, trying to entertain your in-laws, your parents at a brunch or something, and you're trying to feed this baby, you're going to have a real hard time with that. It's awkward. You're not used to it. Give it a few months and you'll be whipping out the tit in front of, at the brunch restaurant regularly, and you'll be good. You'll be good to go on that. But not in those first few weeks. It's a tender time, a loving time, and a time where you can bond deeply as a family and be immersed in love and sleeping and learning how to really nourish and nurture this new configuration of family.
I love, so good, Rachel, I'm just kind of drinking this up, the idea of reframing our expectations and just really setting ourselves up to be nourished and to be, not to be thinking, okay, I'm going to put a autoresponder on my email for 7 days and then I'm going to pop right back onto the laptop.
Yeah. One of my girlfriends said to me, I was talking about, I said, don't plan for the first 3 months. I said, don't plan anything that you can't be late for or cancel at the last minute. Yeah. And she looked at me, she was like, 3 years, 3 years, 3 years until they're in school. And even so, you're tethered to your phone, right? To, if the kid throws up at school or pees in their pants or whatever. But it's funny, but women really underestimate, and partners too, they very much underestimate what their baby's going to need. And I want to just say one thing, that the way that you prepare for pregnancy, the way that you engage in your pregnancy and relate to your baby during pregnancy, the way in which you give birth, the way in which you eat, all of those things make a tremendous difference in the baby that you're going to birth. A baby who is well prepared for, well nourished in pregnancy, where the mom is sleeping well, she's practicing some restorative yoga, a pose every day, she is taking care of eating a nutrient-dense diet, she is steeping herself in joy and connection and love, and she's creating this kind of environment. You will end up, I tell you, you will end up with a baby who sleeps better, who learns better, who nurses better. And the issues that arise with newborns are dramatically less if you have taken the time to reorganize yourself and your life. And as one of my friends says, pregnancy is a good time to trim the fat. Meaning, if you have people in your life who suck your energy, or activities that don't nourish you, that it's time to just we're done. I'm not having lunch with that friend from high school that I feel obligated to. Yeah. I'm not talking to my mother every day who makes me feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, Rachel.
So I just encourage people to really take it seriously. It's not just get pregnant and then work and be a maniac and eat, pizza and chocolate bars and think that it's all going to be, fabulous after the baby's born. You're going to love your baby, but you really want to take care that it's all a time of nourishment and love and connection. And you can create a baby that is healthier, that an actual healthy baby.
All right. Before we close, this is just so fantastic. I'm going to link to your website, yestobirth.com and rachelyellen.com, downstairs in the description below the video. Tell us, as we close, Rachel, what are some of your top books that you recommend for this whole genre? What do you love moms to read?
I really love for moms to read the hypnobirthing book, because I think it outlines it's Hypnobirthing by Marie Mongan. It outlines physiologically why relaxation works and why changing your mindset works. So I really like it for that. And they have some great techniques in there for birthing. Okay. I love Ina May Gaskin's books and movies. She's got The Birth Story, and she's got Ina May's Guide to Childbirth and Spiritual Midwifery.
Ooh, we're losing you.
But I'm still here.
Okay. Ina May Gaskin?
Can you hear me?
We heard hypnobirthing. We heard Ina May Gaskin. Anything else?
I really love, it's funny in this day and age where people are busier and using, podcasts, books on tape, movies, things like that. I really encourage women to really, this is going to sound a little bit funny. Books are good. Books are good. I think that it really helps women to hear other women talking about positive birth experiences, to look at photos of positive birth experiences. I love on Facebook the Empowered Birth Project, Katie Vigos, her program, empoweredbirthproject.com is excellent. January Harshey teaches Birth Without Fear. Her website and her Facebook is Birth Without Fear. There's so many resources like that online. And then the last thing that I want to say in terms of resource, it's vital to take a childbirth preparation class I believe that people need to take a childbirth education class that is not in the hospital, because birth classes in the hospital will teach valuable information and protocols, but they're often teaching patients how to function in the hospital, versus classes outside the hospital will teach people more techniques and more how to be empowered, how to know what what is appropriate intervention versus what's inappropriate intervention. And that's why, you know, I created the video recordings of my live childbirth classes, and why people stream live into my classes, because it's a practice base. And so I think that that's, a lot of people are not taking childbirth classes these days, or very inadequate childbirth classes. And I would not expect to have a real fantastic, joyful experience if you are like winging it. Winging it in birth doesn't work very well. So you want to practice there, just like you would if you were giving a TED talk. You would practice, you'd prepare, just like you would if you were running a marathon. You would practice and you would prepare. You know, right?
Exactly.
That's what we do. Okay, so that's my takeaway.
I totally agree. And I think your courses look amazing, and you're so grounded and convincing in your soothing and your soothing nature and your sort of joyful approach. Thank you so much, Rachel, for spending this time with
Thank you so
us.
much.
I'm so
Thank
grateful.
you. I love being here.
Namaste.
Me too. Namaste. Bye.